Today on Geek Devotions, we're talking about how the way I interact with anime isn't too far off from how I interact with the scriptures. Hello, Devoted Geeks, and welcome to Geek Devotions, a show from Devoted Geeks. We're devoted to letting you know that you're loved. I'm Dalton. I'm so glad you hit the play button today. If you're new to our show, we take geek, pop culture items like movies, video games, comic books, and we use them to let you know that you're loved. So if you don't watch past this moment, know this: we love you, we care about you. There is a plan and a purpose for your life. Don't give up. So we're kicking off season 7 by talking about our Allstar favorite things in geekdom. And last week we talked about how our favorite thing really is just community, doing life with you guys. Today though, I'm getting a little bit more personal. For me, I am a big fan of anime. I love anime a lot. If you go through our channel, there's a lot of devotions based off different animes. Why? Just because I love it. I enjoy it. It's something I've grown up with and I've watched quite a bit over the years. A lot over the years. I'm such a big fan of anime that I even started a brand new podcast with my friend Branson to talk about Mobile Suit Gundam, which is a huge anime franchise. Check it out, the Gundam Watch. It's on all the podcast catchers. For those of you who don't know, we have a Patreon where people who are supporting us, and one of those tiers is actually you get to suggest things for us to review and do devotions on. I kind of hope some of our $25 patrons, such as Leah and the Monster Island Film Vault, suggest some anime for me. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. The thing about anime, though, is that when you come to it, it's very easy for you just to appreciate and to enjoy the art and some other things about it. And at the same time, I get there's some people who just don't like anime. But if you take time to dig into the culture behind anime, things become a little bit more vibrant. And if you do that, if you understand a little bit more about Japanese culture, then people who don't like anime at all suddenly have a little bit more appreciation for some series. Not all, but some series. And then those that are into anime, man, the shows come alive. The stories become much more vibrant. Let me give you a great example. Celeste and I are currently going through Bleach because we're trying to catch up before the launch of the new season. And we're in one of the filler story arcs, which is probably one of the more interesting ones, where all the Zanpakutos have been freed. Zanpakutos are the swords, by the way, because I know some of you have no idea what I just said. Now, what's interesting about this is the Zanpakutos have been freed from the swords, and they're fighting back against their masters. And there's this running dialogue that they've been disrespected, and there's no honor for the swords. And they're being led by this rogue individual, this rogue Zanpakuto called Muramasa. Now on the surface, you're like, okay, that's interesting. But when you dig deeper, things get far more fascinating. In Japan, the katana, the sword of the samurai, is highly valued. It is something that is honored and respected in massive ways. And in that culture, it doesn't make sense for the characters of Bleach to have been disrespectful for the swords. In fact, if you watch throughout the series, you know that they are very honoring of their swords. But then you bring in the aspect of the character Muramasa. Now, what's interesting about Muramasa is that while you may see that name several times in various books and animes and games, Muramasa is a legendary swordsmith, and his blades were highly sought after. However, there's also this aspect about Muramasa that's really dark. See, the swordsmith was known for being a violent individual who would just go out and rage, and his blades seem to have been cursed, sometimes turning on their very owners. Now, when you come into the show with this knowledge of Muramasa and the way that people view the blades, man, this is suddenly far more deeper. This is suddenly a much more interesting story arc. Because now you're seeing something played out that takes place in history, or at least culturally, the mindset of the Muramasa corrupts whatever is holding it. So for me, watching this story arc in Bleach, while again, it's just filler, it's far more interesting and fascinating. In this approach of understanding culture behind what you're watching and viewing, it changes things for you. You have a deeper appreciation, and in fact, this is how I encourage people to approach the scriptures on a regular basis. For me as a Christian, diving into the Bible, diving into the history of the scriptures, the culture behind the people who not just who wrote the scriptures, but the people it was being written to and the application originally that was applied to it, it changes the way that I view the Bible. It makes the Bible far more vibrant for me, being able to do this type of thing. At the same time, it allows me to be able to make practical applications that are more appropriate. Not twisting the scriptures to what I want them to say, but going, man, this is what this meant in context. Now, this is how I can make practical application in my life that is truly God-honoring. There is unfortunately a culture out there that says that when you approach the Bible, that you just approach it blindly. You trust whatever your pastor says. And there's also this mindset of just a blind faith, where you're just like, oh, well, you just go for it. You don't worry about it. But that's really anti-biblical. Across the board, throughout the scriptures, and throughout church history, there is a call for us to dig into the Bible, read it, study it in context, understanding what it says and what it means so we can make appropriate application to our lives so we can grow. You read throughout the Proverbs, there's always a call to wisdom, to understanding what God is saying. In Acts chapter 17, the Apostle Paul comes to a group of individuals called the Bereans, and they present the gospel. They present the truth of Jesus Christ to these individuals. But these individuals don't just blindly accept it. No, they go, okay, cool. And they go and they seek the scriptures. They study out what the Word of God says. And they work to make appropriate application in context of what the scriptures say to the situation they're in, their current study life. And they come to the revelation, man, Jesus truly is the Christ. Jesus truly is the Messiah. And they dedicate their lives to Jesus. And Paul celebrates that, the fact that they didn't just blindly accept it, but they took the time to dig into it. As Christians, we need to do that. We need to be diving into the scriptures. We need to be understanding the context of things. So here's some basic tips that I have for anybody who goes, Dallas, how do I get into the Word? How do I go deeper into it? Well, first off, when I approach the scriptures, I ask myself, who's speaking? Who's speaking in the passage that I'm reading? Then I ask myself, who is this being spoken to? Keeping these two things in mind, I sit down and I ask myself, what is the central idea of the text? Like, what is this text trying to say in context with the people involved? And after I understand those things, then I go to the process of going, how does what happened here actually apply to my life? When you have the context of the scriptures, you have the context of what took place, then and only then can you really apply them to your life in an appropriate manner. Now, there are various tools out there to help you guys do this. There is a website called Blue Letter Bible that has some great resources on there. There's a very, very nice software called Logos, which is mega expensive, but it's super nice and wow, so much content. And then there's a bunch of books that are out there also. The Expositor's Commentary set is one of the sets that I really, really appreciate and I really enjoy. Now, there's a lot to them, and so for some people I go, hey, check out the abridged versions. It's so helpful to have the abridged version. And then there's the Tyndale set, another great commentary set that I use on a regular basis. And if nothing else, get yourself a decent study Bible, one that lays out the scriptures in context for you, that give you not just one point of view, but maybe a couple point of views, the way people have approached these scriptures. There's a couple really great study Bibles out there. Over the years, I've used the Life Application Study Bible, I've used the Spirit-Filled Life Bible, and currently I am using on a regular basis the Fire Bible, which is a really great commentary Bible that's out there. I'll leave a description down below and a link for it. Not affiliated, they don't pay me, but if they want to, they're welcome to hit me up for some videos. The bottom line is this: when you get into it, things make more sense for you, and we can walk things out and appreciate them better. And to be perfectly honest, this process of approaching the scriptures, while I learned it from other Bible teachers and discipleship groups I've been part of, it started from my love for anime. And the way that I approached anime, I remember asking myself, if I put this work into understanding anime, why am I not doing the same thing to understand something that has life-changing value? And so I did. And so that's my encouragement for you guys. Dig into the scriptures, dig into the context and the background of it, and allow it to work out in your life. At the same time, if you're into anime, look at some stuff in Japan, because I'm telling you, it gets far more interesting if you do. Question of the week for you guys: what's your favorite anime? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Not just that, tell me about why you like it. Like, what about that particular anime has drawn you in? I want to take a quick moment to thank all of our devoted Patreon geeks who support us on a monthly basis for as little as $1 a month. Because of them, we're able to do what we do here at Geek Devotions. We're able to create content. We're able to go to GeekCon, which we're going to be at this upcoming Friday. Come hang out with us here in Shreveport, Louisiana. Thanks to them, we're able to have the panel that we're going to be hosting at GeekCon this year on Sunday at noon at GeekCon. We're going to be talking about balancing our faith and our fandom, and so come be part of that conversation. But these guys that you see on the screen, these guys and ladies, thanks to them, we're able to create content that's quality, that encourages people, challenges them, and hopefully helps them take their next step with their walk with God, and let them know the most important thing: they're loved. They are loved by God. They are cared for, and there is a plan and a purpose for their lives. And so, if you want to help us grow, you want to help Geek Devotions to do other things, check out our website, geekdevotions.com. Visit our support page, where as little as $1 a month, you can help us do what we do. And there's other options there. Obviously, you can do a one-time gift through PayPal, and there's an Amazon wish list that helps us get equipment to make our content look better and reach more people. Hey, don't forget to follow us on the social media platforms that are out there: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just look for Geek Devotions. We pop up very, very easily. And don't forget to check out our various podcasts we have out there. We have the Gundam Watch. We have the Bottom Shelf podcast, where we review terrible movies. We have We Read Allegedly, where we review books. And then we have our main podcast, Comm Talk by Geek Devotions, where we talk about general geekery stuff. And then we have monthly segments of Casual Gamers, where our friends talk about gaming, and then B's Views and Reviews, where our friend Branson reviews family-friendly, faith-based comics. Lots of things happening that are designed to encourage you wherever you are at. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay devoted. Peace and love.